Okay, so Plainclothes, which is an independent American feature from American writer-director Carmen Emmy, premiered at Sundance early this year, won the Sundance Special Jury Award for Ensemble Cast. So set in Syracuse, where Carmen Emmy grew up, follows two characters, both of whom, incidentally, are played by British actors. So yet again, another example of, we're going to do this probably, let's get the Brits in. So Tom Blythe is Lucas, who we meet working as an undercover cop in the 90s. He's involved in a sting operation to entrap gay men, filming them apparently engaged in illicit activity in a public restroom. Here is a clip.
We have a rule on this detail. No words and no entering the stall.
This guy I just directed with my eyes.
Release me! What did I do? Against the wall! Against the wall! Under arrest.
Hey, Ma.
You gotta introduce somebody new to my nephew here.
Okay, so what's your type? Who are you?
I don't really have a type.
The film's got this kind of the trappings of being a police procedural, and it's got a somewhat noirish poster that kind of implies that undercover intrigue, something more. The something more is that in the course of this work, our central character encounters Andrew, who's played by Russell Tovey, who I interviewed on stage a few days ago, whom Lucas sets out originally to entrap, but with whom he develops an unexpected bond. And the two end up having a relationship, albeit at arm's length. And Lucas starts to discover or uncover his own sexuality, which is a trait that you can trace back to movies, very different movies, like, for example, William Friedkin's Cruising, but also to want something from Andrew that Andrew can't give him. And the story is told in this, it's told very, very well, but in this non-linear fashion. So it moves back and forth between different time periods, which are flagged up by different filming styles. And that kind of enhances the sense of mystery. The kind of police procedural element feeds into that, into the storytelling. So you get tension and intrigue and reveals. But also at the heart of it, it is a romance. And I read an interview with the writer-director who said, and I love this quote, he said, I read somewhere that at a certain age, maybe 12 to 13-year-old, boys are taught that a punch is better than a hug. That sentiment stuck with me and really helped me form the question I set out to ask in this film. What happens when you police your feelings? And I love that phrase, policing your feelings. I love the fact that what the film is doing is like blending the idea of the emotional and the procedural, both in terms of the story and also in terms of the filmmaking style. I was talking to Russell Tovey about it in the same show in which I burst into tears whilst interviewing Maxine Peake. And he pointed out that, although this sting operation is set in the 90s, which is in the past and everything, that actually the stuff that the film is dealing with, which is to do with homophobia and prejudice and twisted ideas of masculinity, are probably more relevant now than they ever were. And again, this is the second time, or actually third if we're talking about Christie, talking about a film in which what the film is making you do is empathize with these characters whose situations you may not know personally, but who you come to understand because the way the filmmaker tells their story makes you see the world through their eyes. And so on the one hand, it is a specific story about this undercover cop trying to entrap gay men, but it is very universal in that what it's to do with is that feeling that you use, what happens when you police your feelings. And I like the fact that has then bled into, okay, so it is therefore a police procedural with this kind of historical backdrop to it. Anyway, once again, independent, low-budget cinema made by people who really care turns out to be the most interesting thing on release.
Yeah, I mean, I'm yet to watch that one, but it is on my list. Definitely going to check it out. And I do have a huge soft spot for Russell. I just think he's always great, always brings so much heart to everything.
He's
and then
fab,
I suppose when you meet him, it makes
fab.
a lot of sense why that is. Same with Maxine, right? Just someone with a lot of heart. And then you see their performances, you're like, okay.
The thing I hadn't clocked with Russell Tovey was he's really built.
Is he?
Well, yeah. I mean, he had either that or he had this kind of tight jumper on. He's like, wow, you are. I felt all kind of fragile and old.
Yeah, that's that thing where you go too far with the handshake. You do the handshake and then you do like the sort of friendly pat on the upper arm, and you're like, ooh, wow, okay. We have very different lifestyles.
Yeah. Oh.
Gym pub.